Get Basel YouTube, Sexfoot Hacks here. Have for you guys today, week 8 of the CCL D-League. Now, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to hammer the like button down below. The support is greatly appreciated. Also, make sure to answer the question of the day. Now, we are coming off of a pretty tough loss last week. We lost due to hacks, basically. And then after trying to make a comeback, we were not able to make it. If you want to see that match, which I still think was a really good match, then a link to that should be on your screen or down in the description. Now, if you guys would like to see any of the previous CCL D-League matches, there should be a playlist down in the description as well. So this week, we are facing the Sorkinist, the coach of the Shut Up Sorks, because I think that's really the only team that Sork can ever have as a team name. And we faced him week 1, and we pulled out a pretty decisive victory, I might add. So this match is going to be live narrated, so don't worry guys. Finally, after 2 months, I'm going to be able to bring you guys a live narrated match, and hopefully I can do some more of these CCL D-League matches live. So if you look at the team matchups, I have made some changes to the squad. Originally, we had Pelipper, Kingdra, and Kabutops, which are all 3 now gone. I got Torrent Greninja, Crobat, and Sableye. 3 Pokemon that work pretty well, if I do say so myself, and have a lot of good potential. Also, having Greninja gives me another solid fast Pokemon, another good special attacker, and another spiker. Crobat gives me a speedy Mon that could even be Nasty Plot or Bandit or just support with Defog, and then Sableye just gives me a really nice defensive Mon with Prankster priority moves like Taunt, Recover, Will-O-Wisp, and Toxic, and then Knockoff as well, which is really good, obviously. So hopefully I can bring these guys to future battles, but we're not going to be bringing them here. So let's take a look at the squad I will be bringing this week. If you remember the first matchup that we had against Sork, this team is very similar. The only real change up is that I have Hydreigon as opposed to Cobalion, because Cobalion didn't really do much in our original matchup. And this is more or less what I'm expecting Sork to want to bring. Again, Granbull is literally his only Pokemon that switches in to my Mamoswine here, and the reason why I don't have Icicle Crash is on the off chance that he does want to bring Ferrothorn. Depending on the set, I can actually straight to a KO Ferrothorn with Superpower if he is very physically defensive bulky. We have enough speed to outspeed non-speed invested Manaphy, because with this speed we pretty much outspeed everything on Sork's team. Another benefit of having Meltzer here is that we keep a potential double dance Landorus at bay, because we can just hit it up with an Ice Shard. We can also Ice Shard Latios and Ice Shard Thundurus if he does want to bring it. Manaphy, honestly, depending on if it's bulky or not, could determine on how we're going to be able to deal with it. Gastrodon is just a very good fat wall that he can bring. Another Mon that he could bring that I'm not too concerned about him bringing is Alola Marowak, because now that we've lost 3 water types and only have 1 water type that we could potentially not bring, Alola Marowak is another good Mon to be able to check Juliet here. But the good thing about it is that after Stealth Rocks, even if he is max Spadaf, max HP, Modest, Expert Belt, Shadow Ball just straight to a KOs the Marowak, which is really nice. And we are running enough speed to be able to outspeed timid max speed Thundurus if he does decide to bring it, because this is by far his fastest Pokemon, unless he decides to bring something like Scarf Landorus, in which case I can still check Landorus with my Reuniclus and with my Tangrowth here. So speaking of Reuniclus, this is something I overlooked in the first matchup we had against Sork, and that is that I honestly don't need Regenerator, because I did have Regenerator in our first match just to kind of have an easier time checking the Latios. But with this Spadef investment, there's no way that Life Orb or Soul Dew Latios can 2 a KO if he specs. That's a whole nother story, but we'll deal with that if he does have it. So after an Acid Armor and 2 Calm Minds, if he doesn't have something like Taunt or Roar Heatran, which I don't really expect him to want to bring Heatran, like maybe he cannot bring Marowak and he could bring in Heatran, just Heatran doesn't really have a good matchup this game. But this is really the only thing that can stop my Reuniclus from just setting up on him, because he can either have the Roar or he can have the taunt, which will stop me from setting up, and then that's going to be a bit of an issue, so I would have to get rid of the Heatran. But minus that, there's literally nothing that just stops my Reuniclus from setting up to +2 with Calm Mind and then Acid Armoring, and then at that point, it doesn't matter if he's got knockoff on Thundurus or Landorus. There's no way they're going to be able to knock me out with any one hit unless Landorus is like Adamant Banded. Then I don't really have to worry about a hit after +2. And the main reason why I do have more Spadef again is to check Latios, and because most of Sork's Pokemon are especially offensive Mons. Haze Toxapex could be a little bit of an issue. If he does bring Toxapex, that could be a slight issue, so I really have to watch out for that. But I am expecting him to not bring it just because I do have a Defogger and a Poison type of my own, and Toxapex is just really, really passive. Plus I have Mamoswine here and Juliet that can pressure it, and then I can gain momentum from what he does from there. We have Assault Vest Tangrowth this time. Last time it was just Max Spadef with leftovers, and then Leech Seed and Sleep Powder as opposed to Earthquake and Knockoff. Earthquake, of course, is just going to be for the Heatran if he's not Air Balloon or if he's not Shucka Berry and he doesn't burn me. Earthquake is going to be a straight 2 KO regardless of what spread he is running. Knockoff is just really good to be able to get rid of leftovers and potential Rocky Helmets or any other type of item and get off some pretty decent damage on the Latios. And there's no way Latios is going to be able to OHKO Tangrowth with the Draco Meteor. So this gives me another kind of pseudo check to Latios if it does turn out to be Specs or Life Orb, and then I can go from there. Giga Drain, of course, is just for stab and a little bit of extra recovery, and then Hidden Power Fire is just for the Ferrothorn, which we can easily 3KO Ferrothorn or 2KO it depending on the set that he's running. So next off we have Hydreigon here, which this was changed up from like 5 other Pokemon. I originally had Nasty Plot Crobat because I really wanted to bring Nasty Plot Crobat, because if he did bring Ferrothorn and Gastrodon again, then late game Crobat could straight just win, because I had Heat Wave, Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, and Nasty Plot. But if he does want to bring Heatran, then Heatran just 100% walls that set, and I would rather have a stab move as opposed to having Nasty Plot with no stab, because I would have to go Heat Wave, HP Ground, and Giga Drain and Nasty Plot, so I don't have Sludge Bomb or Air Slash, which could really come to cost me later in the match. And then I had Greninja, then I had Sableye, then I had Scolipede, and I think I almost put Cobalion back on there too, but I ultimately decided on Hydreigon. Substitute Hydreigon is actually pretty decent in this match, because if he does bring Gastrodon or Ferrothorn or Toxapex, then I can just safely set up a substitute. This also gives me a pretty good answer to Marowak if he does want to bring that as well, because I can switch into both of his stabs, and if he doesn't burn me with Will-O-Wisp, I can just safely get up a substitute, and then I'm going to be behind a substitute with a modest natured Hydreigon that can do pretty decent damage to Sork's draft. Dark Pulse, 2 KOs just about everything after Stealth Rocks, Fire Blast, straight OHKOs, even Max Spadef, Max HP Ferrothorn if I'm not mistaken, but I'm pretty positive he wouldn't leave a Ferrothorn in on Hydreigon. Taunt is only for Toxapex and Gastrodon, and also kind of stops Ferrothorn, I guess, from leech seeding or spiking. And what this allows me to do is beat Gastrodon and Toxapex 1v1, because outside of Ice Beam, there's no possible way that they're going to be able to break my substitute. Dark Pulse also pressures his Heatran because we can 2 KO it potentially depending on the spread, but I think rolls lean more towards it being 3 KO'd, but either way, Heatran can't do anything to my Hydreigon. Dark Pulse destroys Latios. It also destroys Landorus, and I'm running enough speed to outspeed Adamant Max Speed Landorus. If he wants to bring like Adamant Scarf Landorus, then if I'm able to get rid of its Scarf, my Hydreigon will be able to outspeed it unless he's Jolly. So that's really good, because even if he's Scarfed, it's not going to be that big of an issue. It's actually going to be a little bit scarier if he brings Double Dance, which normally people run Adamant on Double Dance Landorus, so this is another good reason to have that little bit of speed. And then finally off, we have Munchies, the substitute Curse Snorlax. This is I was originally gonna bring the same set I brought week 1, which completely caught Sork off guard because I could easily substitute on Ferrothorn, Gastrodon, and Toxapex. And I am running enough speed to outspeed a bit of speed creeping Marowak and a bit of speed creep Gastrodon. And I know it's a little bit odd that I'm running enough speed to outspeed Marowak, because I don't have any super effective hit to hit it. My last move last time was Earthquake, and I think I had Body Slam as opposed to Return. But the good thing about this is that after setting up a Substitute and going for a Curse, Ferrothorn can never break my Substitute with one hit, and then if I get up to +2, he can't break it with 2 hits, and then at that point he's got to hope to hit 2 Power Whips in a row, which I can then just Fire Punch to knock him out. I had to clear my throat there. But Return is going to be hitting things for really good damage. Heatran does kind of wall this set, but depending on what set the Heatran is running, then he may not even be able to break my Substitute in any one hit. So from there I can just constantly curse up and Substitute and eventually wear him down and beat him down with Return. Although I guess this is where Body Slam wouldn't be entirely too bad. It's just I want the extra power from Return if I need to get off an extra little bit of damage to put something in range for it to be revenge killed by another one of my Pokemons. So that, I said Pokemons, by another one of my Pokemon. So yeah guys, that is the intro to the team. With that being said, let's go ahead and get this match started. Alright guys, so we got the matchup here, and unfortunately he did bring the Alola Marowak. So it's a good thing I did bring my Hydreigon here, and I'm gonna put this link in the Discord. Hold on. So he did bring Landorus again, and he brought Latios this time. Latios could be a bit of an issue, but it looks like my Reuniclus should definitely be able to win us the match here without really having to worry too much about what he wants to do to me. Alola Marowak is going to have to get weakened, so I have to watch out for that. Looking at leads though, maybe Landorus could be his lead. He didn't bring Ferrothorn or Gastrodon this time, which is kind of nice, so don't have to worry about those. I really want to lead with my Tangrowth. I really want to lead Tangrowth. At the same time, I want to lead Mamoswine just to get a Brox. I think I'm going to lead Mamo, honestly, as he actually ends up leading off with Landorus, and this is really good because I will be able to go straight for the Ice Shard if I really wanted to, but I think I'm going to try and get on my Stealth Rocks here instead, because there is a possibility that he's going to be forced out. If I did Ice Shard, he could bring in the Manaphy. This is where I kind of wish I had the Focus Sash, but luckily he does just end up going for the U-turn, so I can see what kind of Landorus this is. U-turn did 28%, so he's got to be running attack investment. Yeah, most likely, as he U-turns into the Manaphy. Manaphy could be a slight problem depending on the set, so I'm gonna make a hard switch right into my Jolteon here as he ends up going for the Scald. Luckily does not get the burn though, does not get the burn, which is really nice. So I kind of want to pull a double switch here into my Hydreigon, because I can see him wanting to try and bring in the Marowak Alola form. I think I'm going to Shadow Ball actually, as unfortunately I do overpredict here, and he gets a crit. That actually really sucks. That actually really sucks. This could be a problem now, because Jolteon was such a huge threat to Sork. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the knockoff here, as he actually turns out to have the U-turn. So he may have the Wakan Berry, and he just has U-turn, which means he probably doesn't have any boosting moves. So he does end up bringing the Alola Marowak here, as I get the knockoff off and get rid of his Thick Club, which is really good, because as soon as I Calm Mind with Reuniclus, I should be able to win this match. So I'm a little worried that he's going to have max speed on this Marowak, so I'm going to switch directly into my Hydreigon here, as he actually tries to go for the Fire Punch, and what this is going to allow me to do is get up a Substitute without really fearing anything that he would want to go for, as he's going to try and Fire Punch me again. The fact that I'm able to get up a sub here is going to be really good for me, as I'm going to be able to be behind a sub on whatever he decides to bring in against my Hydreigon now. As in comes the Landorus, I will get to find out if this is Scarfed. I could see this definitely being Scarfed, actually. I mean, do I lose anything in just Dark Pulsing? I don't want to substitute on the off chance that I am faster than him, because that would actually really, really suck. No, there's no way he's adamant. Yeah, because as you see there, U-turn would have done more damage. So he could just be Jolly Scarfed. So I'm going to substitute, see what he wants to do, as he is definitely Jolly Scarfed. He could have been Adamant Scarf, but he did too little damage to my Mamoswine there. As in comes the Manaphy, I'm just going to stay in here and I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse as he reveals to have the Ice Beam. Unfortunately, Dark Pulse will not quite knock him out. The good thing is, though, is that at this range, he can't... what am I talking about? No, yeah, he doesn't have leftovers. Sorry, I don't know what I was trying to say there. Tangrowth should be able to take 2 of these Ice Beams, I want to say. Hold on, let me see. Ice Beam. Yeah, I can definitely take 2 Ice Beams with my Tangrowth here, so I'm going to hard switch right into Tangrowth. As long as he doesn't freeze me, we should be fine, as luckily he doesn't get the freeze. So I want to say Earthquake will definitely knock him out at this range. Yeah, I can definitely go for the EQ here. Knockoff also wouldn't be a bad play either, I want to say, because I could see him wanting to try and U-turn. Honestly, I think Knockoff is probably my better play to do in this scenario, as he's just going to leave in his Manaphy. I am going to be able to get rid of that, which is really great, and he did turn out to have the Wakam Berry, which is nice to know because I didn't leave in my Jolteon on it. I mean, it does suck that he crit me though, because I could have then gone for the Volt Switch most likely, or just doubled out, as he ends up bringing in the Heatran here, which is going to be really, really annoying. I could make the risky play of leaving in my Tangrowth, or I can switch out. After Regenerated, Tangrowth is still going to be very, very handy to me in this game. If I can find some way to substitute with Snorlax, that would also be really good for us. So I think I'm going to make the hard switch right here into my Hydreigon, because if you look at his team, there's really nothing that is going to take a Dark Pulse, and I can still save my Tangrowth, as he's going to Lava Plume. Please don't burn me, Sork. Luckily don't get burned there, which is really nice. So I'm going to fire off a Dark Pulse here. There's really no reason for me to have to go for the substitute, as I was hoping to get a flinch there, but he does pull out the Dragon Pulse, which is a little bit terrifying, because now this could put me in a bit of a bad scenario. So I think I misclicked there actually. I didn't want to bring in Mamoswine. I wanted to bring something else in. But I should be able to just safely go for Superpower here. Icicle Crash also wouldn't be too bad of a play. Not Icicle Crash, sorry. Earthquake also wouldn't be too bad of a play, because if you look at his team, everything that switches in can get hit with an Ice Shard. So I'm going to Earthquake here, as he knows I'm not running that much speed. If he only did 22% to my... Well, hold on, because he's got Flash Cannon, Dragon Pulse, and Lava Plume. Would he have Roar or Stealth Rocks as his last move? This is going to be the moment of truth here. I'm going to try and Calm Mind, see what he wants to do to me, as he turns out to have the Lava Plume. In our first match, I actually did bring the Regenerator Reuniclus, but in this matchup, I do bring Magic Guard. So I should be able to Acid Armor here, as I'm in a pretty good spot right now, I think. And I'm going to go straight for the Side Shock, see how much damage this Landorus is going to do to me, because there's still a possibility that this thing is just going to be Scarfed. As he tries to go for the knockoff, doesn't do too much, as I will be able to safely go for the recover. As long as my Reuniclus doesn't get critted, I want to say that we're in a pretty good spot right now. Would he go for the Nasty Plot here? I mean, he can't knock me out, yeah. So if I really wanted to, I definitely could have gone for the Calm Mind there. There's really no reason for me to not have Calm Mind if I really wanted to. As in comes the Latios, which I am a little concerned that this could maybe have Trick. So I almost want to switch out. But I'm going to recover, as he turns out to be Dragon Dance. Okay. So I was not expecting that. And I'm just going to fire off Side Shocks now, because this thing could get out of hand potentially, as he turns out to be Life Orb. That's really, really good. That's really, really good. That's really, really good. So, what do you have? Roost. What do you have the Roost? I'm gonna recover here as he misses the Zen headbutt. I'm sorry, Sork. I'm sorry, buddy. So Dragon Claw is going to put him in range of where Psyshock is gonna knock him out. So I got a little bit scared there. I thought I was about to get swept by this this thing. So in comes the Landorus again, and I'm just gonna recover so I can be brought back up to full HP and a +4 defense. There's no way that he's gonna be able to beat me unless he crits me. And this is pretty much game, because there's nothing that the Heatran can do. So I knew that I could win with Reuniclus. It's just I didn't want to set up with it so early, as he's gonna go for the Flash Cannon, and now the game is pretty much over, because there's no way he's gonna be able to knock me out. And that was a good game, Sork. So this match definitely went a lot better than our first one, I think, because I pretty much was in control in the first game that me and Sork played, which was in week 1, and here I was able to find the right spot to bring in Reuniclus to set up. So good game to Sork there, guys. If you did enjoy, make sure to hammer the like button down below. With that being said, I will see you all tomorrow. So thank you all for watching, guys. Later, everybody.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in the knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.